there guys, Luke here with the Outdoor Gear Review. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching. This is our very first after the camp out video. And for the sake of this video, we are of course talking about the Torchlight Overnight Adventure. You know, it was a fantastic trip. I had a really good time. We also tested out a whole bunch of new gear. So, you know, right now we're just going to kind of go over the trip, rehash it a little bit, and talk about the equipment that we used, maybe some of the pros and cons that we discovered while using it, and so on. I'll even show you guys a little bit behind the scenes sort of stuff, some goofy whatever. But guys, grab a cup of coffee. I've got one. Let's get started. Now, as you guys know, we were using a lot of gear for the first time, such as the FIL BE pack. We carried that baby as about 4 miles round trip, so 2 miles uphill, 2 miles downhill. And, you know, it really did perform well. It's very comfortable. It actually handles the load, you know, pretty impressively, actually. You know, the only negative that I discovered while my short little trip there was the drag handle, you know. If you just put the pack on, that drag handle has a tendency just to rub the backside of your neck. Now, easily you could just stick your hand back there and just kind of push it down out of the way, and that's fine, and it's no longer a nuisance. But, you know, overall, the FIL BE pack really fit well, very comfortable. It took a little while to kind of get it adjusted correctly for my frame, but once I did, it was awesome. It really did good. Our total loadout was right at 37 pounds, give or take a few ounces. And, you know, I tell you, that's pretty heavy compared to where I usually am. I like to stay around 20 pounds, and if I can go below that, I will. But, you know, the FIL BE pack comes in at 10 pounds by itself. So, you know, considering that fact and the gear that we had, you know, 37 pounds still isn't all that heavy. Now, of course, that system is made to carry a whole lot more than that. And, you know, for a guy who weighs 140 pounds, having a pack that weighs 40 pounds and up is pretty crazy, you know. But, yeah, overall, the FIL BE pack definitely gets a thumbs up. I really like it, and I'm really looking forward to testing it out more as we go into the winter months and when I can actually fill a pack like that up full of gear. So, there you go. Now, the next item that we tested out for the first time was the Mountain Hardwear Hunker One Assault Tent. Now, guys, I really have to admit it. I really like that tent. It really sets up just extremely easy. There's 3 poles, just in and in and in, and then you're done. Very, very simple. It doesn't have to be staked out. You know, it is freestanding, which is a big plus. It is a 4-season tent, but, you know, really we haven't tested that out yet. I don't know how well it's going to do with snow loads. You know, just due to the way that the poles are positioned on the outside, in a way, I don't know. There seems like there's a lot of area for snow to collect instead of snow to be able to just knock it off and fall off to the side. So, well, we'll just have to wait and see. You know, that will definitely require some testing. But, you know, without a doubt, I think it'll handle high winds very, very well. It has that very low profile, you know, so we'll definitely have to wait for the weather to come in, and we'll begin testing out that aspect of the tent. Now, you know, the temperatures got down to about 25 degrees, and it was definitely cold. And the inside of that tent, there was no condensation whatsoever. I was really impressed. It really did a good job of breathing, you know. Now, I did have the front door open about a quarter of the way, so I'm sure that helped a good deal. But still, a lot of that is just due to the tent. I've had tents before, cheaper tents, of course, you know, where you can have the entrance fully opened, and still the condensation would be a pretty big, significant deal. So, thumbs up for the tent. It is a small tent, there's no doubt about it, but there was plenty of room for my pad, my sleeping bag, the FIL BE pack, my shoes, and there was some room left over. So, you know, definitely not the smallest tent in the entire world. Bigger than a bivvy, smaller than, you know, a 2-person tent. So, it kind of fits right there in the middle. That moves us to the sleeping pad, and that is the Banggood sleeping pad that we've been sent to test out. You know, it's a very inexpensive item. When I actually do a preview of this item and then move to the review, we'll talk about the stats and all that good stuff and how much it costs. But really, guys, I was really impressed with that. You know, it is a 3-chambered sleeping pad. You have the pillow, and then you also have 2 sections of that pad with a divider in the middle. And you know, one thing that I really like about it, and is really handy for areas like where I live in, is that, you know, each one of those sections, you know, excluding the pillow, can be filled to a different layer of air. So if you're on a slope, you can fill, you know, up the one side higher than the other to kind of equal that out. And that's what I did during the night. And I tell you, you know, instead of sliding down the mountain all night long, I was pretty comfortable. I could scoot around like I usually do and didn't have any issues. Now, I tell you, that's a first time actually, because I'm constantly always rolling downhill, either scooting or rolling. We're in the mountains, nothing here is flat really, so that's just how it goes. So that really did test positive in my book. Filling it up, you know, blowing it up is very simple. There's a little squeezy nozzle that you can blow in for the pillow side. Now, the actual tubes themselves is a little bit different. They kind of have these screwy ends on the bottom of them. And, you know, it's interesting. Yeah, it kind of self-inflates by itself, but I like to put a little bit of extra air into it. And I would blow into them and fill them up. And, you know, honestly, I'm not really sure if it was meant to do that. And I can't really find any good instructions for them. You know, it happens to work the way that I did it, and it worked very well. So, there you go. What else can you say? As far as weight goes, pretty lightweight, around a pound, something like that. Of course, we'll talk about that later in the future. But good quality. I'm pretty impressed. There you go. On top of the sleeping pad, of course, we had our intermediate sleeping bag. And of course, that thing is a heavy beast. You know, and it's a synthetic fill, so you don't really have to worry about it getting wet. You don't really have to worry about too much about compressing it for a long period of time. It functioned very well. Temperatures got down to about 25 degrees, 24 degrees. And I was very comfortable all night long. It has a good hood on it, which I just kind of cinched up around myself. And I slept like a baby all night long. So no complaints there. Now, of course, you know, the modular sleep system can be purchased online very cheaply. It's a very inexpensive system, but it's also a very versatile system because you could put the patrol bag, the green bag, inside of the intermediate bag, and you could carry that thing down to 0 and beyond. And of course, you have the Gore-Tex Bivy, which I really like. It's really big. I like that a whole lot about it. You know, so yeah, very good system. You can usually find them for less than $100 if you look around. I think I got mine for about $60, brand new. So, you know, that's what I call very budget friendly. Because if you guys have experience with buying sleeping bags, you know, you're talking about lots of money. There's no doubt about it. Now, moving on, I guess we should talk about the Banggood lantern. Now, you guys saw that lantern a good bit in the video itself. And you know what? I have to say, I really like it. Very inexpensive, very lightweight, really works well, really puts out a lot of light. It takes 3 AAA batteries, I believe. I'll have to check on that for the preview and the review later on. And I'll also get the weight for you guys. But, you know, super cheap. And it just works great. And it's actually pretty dang tough. You know, in the video, I don't actually show it, but that thing actually takes a flying through the air and it hits the ground. It knocked the batteries out, put them back in, and it worked just fine. I'll show that video here in just a moment. But, you know, gosh, I'll tell you what, I really like kind of carrying a lantern around or just putting it in my camp because it illuminates the entire area. I was able to put the lantern in one central spot, and I can go get firewood, feed the fire, go over this way, do that, whatever I got to do. So, yeah, I tell you what, it might become a staple item in my kit. No doubt about it. Now, of course, we had a fantastic meal, and that was the meatballs and marinara MRE. Now, to be honest with you, after I got done eating that, I was kind of wondering, you know, I think I ate that completely the wrong way. I don't think that you're supposed to make tacos out of those things like I did. But, you know, nonetheless, it was still really good. I'm guessing that you're supposed to be taking a bite of the meatballs from the package, taking a bite of the tortilla shells, and so on, but the way that I did it, like you guys saw in the video, is I just unfolded those tortillas, put the meatballs and marinara on there, poured on some mayonnaise, and put on some barbecue baked beans. And guys, it was freaking awesome. Super awesome. The pound cake, I didn't actually show that in the video, but I did eat it. And it too was pretty dang good. I have to admit. I didn't drink the dairy shake because that's a mistake. Being lactose intolerant means that I don't want to do that sort of stuff. That would be bad news. Moving on, guys, we'll go ahead and talk about the clothing that I had on. I had a Patagonia thermal layer on, and I had a long sleeve active shirt, just kind of like this one, on top of that. And then I had that wool sweater, which is a military surplus item. And I got that for like $6 at the military surplus place. And that thing really did do an awesome job of keeping me warm. I ended up keeping that on all through the night, and I was nice and toasty. Also, with a nice good wool layer, you don't really have to worry about sparks and stuff like that landing on it. You know, if you have some sort of nylon jacket, you know, something, you know, you get an ember on that, and you're likely to burn a hole straight through it. I've done it. If you guys are, you know, sitting around a fire, I'm sure you've done that as well. You know, that's one reason why I like to keep my tent away from the fire. I want to keep it far enough away where I don't have to worry about embers and so on, ashes, landing on it and burning a hole in it. When you're talking about, you know, gear that's expensive, man, I tell you what, I don't want to burn holes in mine. I don't know about you guys, but there you go. But, yeah, you know, the pants, they were just Fjallraven pants, G1000 material, freaking awesome. They're definitely Rockstar pants, some of my very, very favorite. I absolutely love them. The shoes were the Vasky Juxt shoes, and to be honest, guys, those shoes are way, way past their prime. I have used them for way too long, and I still continue to wear them. I probably will still continue to wear them until I get off my lazy butt and go purchase another pair. They have so many hundreds of miles on them. Like, the heels are completely gone. They're worn out. It's funny, the other day I went out night hiking and I wore a different pair of shoes that aren't destroyed like those are. And I forgot what it's like to actually have heels on my shoes. You know, I'm kind of used to walking like this. And with heels on them, you kind of walk like that. So it's kind of a different experience. But, you know, I need to contact Vasky and ask them how they want me to retire these shoes. Should I, you know, burn them, cremate them? Should I, you know, blow them away, burn them, cream? I don't know. Who knows? You know what I'm saying. So we'll have to see what they have to say. But pretty awesome shoes. Absolutely fantastic. It's definitely time to get a new pair. As far as entertainment goes, I did bring the Kindle Fire, which you can see right here. This is the first generation model. You know, this thing is slow as dirt. The screen's pretty awful. I kind of hate the operating system, to be honest. It's kind of, I don't know, I just don't like it. But for reading books, it does a very good job. And that night, I did read a book. It was kind of a short novel, and it was called Extinction: Dawn of the Apocalypse. And guys, I highly recommend it. I will warn you that it is not a happy story. It does not have a happy ending. It's very dark. And you know what? I really, really enjoyed it. I'm not going to really discuss it too much because I don't want to ruin it for anybody that decides to read it. But if you're somebody who picks it up, I actually got it off of the Amazon store for free. It's one of their free books at the time. You may be able to get it for free, I don't know. But I loved it. If you guys read it, make sure to send me a message or comment. Let me know what you think. I'd love to discuss it with you. So, what were the best moments of the night? I have to say that I really enjoyed making the torches. You know, I made 2 of them. The first one lasted about 5 minutes, and I kind of learned from that, and I made another one. And it lasted 10 minutes before I just finally just chucked it in the fire. I got tired of holding it. That thing could have went on and burned another 5 minutes, maybe even longer. But you know what? That was a really good learning experience, and it was also fun. You know, of course, anytime you're messing with sticks and twigs and branches and stuff in the night, you have to be really careful not to poke your eye out, you know, stuff like that. But that was fun. Definitely learned something. I can't wait to actually go back out again and kind of attempt to make better and better torches. Every single time, you know, my thought process kind of changed a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that differently next time. That's what it's all about. So that was definitely a lot of fun. Now, there were a couple of things that I didn't actually show into the video. And that was like coyotes howling in the night. You guys have probably heard that before in some of my previous videos. But there was probably like a 5-minute period. They were pretty far off still. But they were just going crazy, you know. Every dog in the neighborhood was barking too. But also, throughout the night, I mean all night long, even into the morning, probably about 7 o'clock, there was deer all around us just snorting nonstop. I think we were just right in the middle of their kind of little path, and they were pretty ticked off. Now, there wasn't actually a trail there, but we were close enough that they noticed. And like I said before, there was a point when I had that lantern, and I didn't show it in the video because, of course, you got to cut some things out. I don't want a video to be like 6 hours long, probably bore you guys to death. It might bore you to death with it being 50 minutes long, but either way. But if you watch the video itself, there's a moment where I decide I'm going to make a sort of stick stand to hold the lantern, and I just kind of ram it in with my hand, real gently like, and I put that thing on there, and it held for maybe 2 minutes before it just went falling over. The lantern hit the ground. I'll show you that video right now. I don't have to worry about embers falling on my clothing and burning. Oh, shit. So there you go. That is pretty funny. That's a little goof on my part. But, yeah. Next time, I definitely rammed it into the ground quite a bit harder, and it definitely stayed. But, yeah, guys, that's just how it goes, isn't it? So, guys, that's pretty much it. That is the behind the camp for the Torchlight Overnight Adventure. If you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, recommendations, critiques, feel free to let me know. You know, of course, guys, I appreciate it when you like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And, guys, see you guys in the future. Everyone, take care. Thanks for watching.